Shali Keredikwap, it's my name, representing Fire Estate, that is the name of my group. And as you can see there, the title of our campaign is Advocating for an Increase in the Training of the UC Community on the Use of Fire Extinguisher. And our slogan was, Save Lives, the Fire Extinguisher. That's our introduction. We discovered that fire is one of the oldest discoveries that are currently in the world, and fire can destroy anything in the shortest period of time. It will not wait, it will not send warning before it destroys anything. And we came up with the different types of fire extinguishers according to the fire masters from their website. That's why we cited it. Then our background, according to the Criminal Investigation Directorate, that's from the police, we found out that 30 incidents of fire have been registered across Uganda from the 1st of January till 22nd Feb of this year. And these statistics indicate that 9 of the fire outbreaks were attributed to arson, and 8 were attributed to short circuits and burning candles. So we also found out that we are part of Uganda, and UCU is in Uganda. And since Uganda Christian University is in Uganda, we are not prone to any fire outbreaks. A fire can also catch in Uganda Christian University. So that's why we decided to take up this campaign. And despite the fact that this campaign was done last year, why we decided to take it up is because last year they majored on only non-residents. Non-residents were the ones who were taken up on the fire extinguisher trainings. That's why we took up the whole UCU community, because not everybody is a non-resident. We have the staff members because they have sockets in their offices, and a fire outbreak can happen in an office. That's why as a campaign, we decided to take up the UCU community, staff and students, considering also the residents, though according to the residents, these trainings are only done for RAs, that is the residential assistants, and guild officials. And we thought that what if a fire breaks out when the RA of that block is not there? Or what if a fire breaks out at the Vice Chancellor's office and he does not know how to use this gadget, this fire extinguisher? So that's why as a team, we decided that let us take up the whole of the UCU community and not based only on residents or non-residents or staff members. So this is our situation analysis that we did using questionnaires. We distributed questionnaires to 30 students as our survey, minimum as our sample space, and we found that 86% of the students and staff in Uganda Christian University know that fire extinguishers are hung everywhere. In fact, they're littered everywhere, but they do not know how to operate them. You find that there is one just behind us there, but how many of us know how to operate it? That was the aim of our campaign. So that is the pie chart showing our findings. This red of 86% means that those are the people who do not know how to use a fire extinguisher, though they see the fire extinguishers littered in the compound. And the 14% know how to use a fire extinguisher. But their knowledge of how to use a fire extinguisher was not really acquired in UCU. It was acquired outside UCU. So we suggested that why shouldn't UCU also take part in the training of students on how to use a fire extinguisher? So that is our problem statement. Just as I say that UCU has many firefighting equipment, but 86% of staff and students do not know how to use a fire extinguisher. That was our problem. Those are our objectives: to reduce on the unawareness of the use of a fire extinguisher from 86% to a lesser percentage, Just like when we're in class, we did not want to guarantee ourselves a percentage because we don't know whether the campaign would be a success or not. We had to have open minds. So we said if it is to a lesser percentage than what we registered from our questionnaires, we would have our objective fulfilled. And also to lobby for the increase of orientations on fire extinguisher use to both staff and students. This was by meeting the bosses of the university, the heads, the DOSAs, the DVCs, the guy in charge of security, so that this is put into practice. That is those are our messages at our audiences and channels. We had the DVC, we had a meeting with him, and that was our message to him. Then we had the staff, we had the staff, that is, we talked to the head of security, we talked to the head of kitchen staff, and they welcomed our campaign. We also talked to the students. We had a public address, the students in Nkoyoyo, and we also have a video recording that will be played that airs out our message. We also, then that is our budget. People will have questions on our budget. I'll answer one of the questions. Why the fire extinguisher is there is because we moved in all offices in UCU, DOSA back to facilities and back to the security guy, and they refused to give us their fire extinguishers. So we said, for this to be done, we had to hire our own fire extinguisher. So for the budget, that is what we had to do. So we had the posters at that amount. We had our banner. It was just hanging at N block. Our t-shirts, you can see my group members have t-shirts. Those ones in blue. And our fire extinguisher was also there. We had to buy our own petrol. Since the security guys refused to give us petrol, refused to give us a fire extinguisher, we had to buy our own and a matchbox. So those are the roles, each member and their role. Athen, maybe you can stand up and so that they see you, don't become a ghost student. Athen was in charge of the cameras. Oseku John was one in charge of printing our visual materials. Sunita Mirembe was in charge of our social media. Then Kwapshali and Rosalinda Mukama, that is Rosalinda Mikwapshali, were the people. Then Acheng, Monica, and Vicky, those ones were in charge of booking our appointments. Then Odama, Brenda, and Jackie, that is Jackie and that is Odama, those were our secretaries. Atrinda Yvonne, pinning up of the posters. Then Asimwe Martha, that was our finance manager. So this is Oseku, those are my group members pinning up the banner at N block. Those are still my group members pinning up the banner, and that is the fire extinguisher that we had to hire for our demonstration. So this is our video showing the message.
Majnego gwakwo
ati area fonzini ipa edri
omuliro gutta tasa obulamu
omuron gwita
tambira amagara gawe
Eyarakim Ayiwataijara.
My colleagues have said it all. Fire is dangerous and it kills. Let us all learn how to use a fire extinguisher so that we can prevent such situations from happening.
Why we decided to have messages in different languages, UCU has a dynamic community, and you find that different people speak different languages, and not everybody understands English perfectly. So if I say out my message in the language I understand best, my fellow tribe mate will understand what I say. So I said mine in Ateso, and I believe my tribe mates understood my message. That goes to all other members. So this was our implementation process. We met the DOSA, who kept on tossing us to the facilities guy. And we also designed a banner just like the one you saw, plus the posters that were shown. We came up with our messages. We met the head of security, interviewed the guild president, and finally had our fire extinguisher demonstration and taught people how to operate a fire extinguisher. So this was our work schedule. You'll ask questions. That's why our work schedule was a bit delayed. It's because we had to go through a lot of procedures to have our demonstration carried out. We could not just carry it out before the security people are aware, before the DOSA is aware, before the DVC is aware, and before all everybody is aware of it. So we had to have that tight work schedule despite the 3 weeks. And even what limited us most was following up for the equipment that they eventually refused to give us. So this was our evaluation. We used the questionnaire as a tool for our survey and used the thematic analysis to analyze our data. We believe our campaign was successful because we were able to lobby for fire extinguisher orientations. Why I say so, we were asked to take part in the Health and Awareness Week, where we shall be teaching people how to use a fire extinguisher. That means the administration has at least bought our idea, and that is what it says. And we believe from the people we're able to demonstrate to, our people who are ignorant on how to use a fire extinguisher has reduced. So this was during our demonstration.
So we are going to demonstrate how to put out a fire with a fire extinguisher. It's a basin, there is water. This is petrol. So I'm going to pour the petrol into the basin, and she's going to light the fire, and he's going to take out the fire. So we go.
Are these people safe with the petrol?
Yes.
I don't want to.
Make a music.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Let's not strain between us. Let's listen to that. So you're done?
Yes. That's our demonstration.
So can you take us through the steps? How do you manage that car itself?
The process is
So there, the person who was carrying out the demonstration has explained our audience on how to operate the fire extinguisher.
You stand and show us the pin, because these extinguishers are everywhere, but none of us.
It's not. The powder is still in. Sorry.
So you put in the pin.
The pin is there. So you don't pull it out.
Just like the roof, like a fat roof. You will pull it out. When you pull it out,
When you pull it out, then you
If press and I see.
But you're supposed to direct the...
Is it the machine which is faulty or what? Or is the powder spreading out?
That's the thing. You just pull it out.
It is coming out because once it is open, it has to be used as it should be
It
done.
comes from nowhere,
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
It's coming from the nozzle.
When you're using, you're supposed to direct the nozzle
At the
at
base.
the base of the fire, not on top of the fire.
So you put it in
Yeah. So the
I think there must be a problem with this nozzle.
So that is the
So the ones you see around campus, the pin
the
is
fire
still
extinguishers are littered everywhere, but people don't know how to. He also came and
Thank you all for coming.
took part in our demonstration. Thank you. Any questions?
Hi, it's me again, Vivian Nantambi. Yes. I would like to know some of the challenges you faced because you did not mention the challenges you guys faced.
One of the challenges that we faced after moving around from office to office, and we finally refused to get the fire equipments, we had to hire hours. That meant increasing on our budget. So we had to increase our budget by 50,000 to hire a fire extinguisher. That was one. Secondly, the person that we expected to train us, that was Mr. Herbert, the security guy, did not show up. So we had to improvise. We had to get another trainer to train us before we demonstrate.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Flavia Kunihira, and I do like your project, but one thing I want to ask, one thing I think you should have done is maybe on your posters, you should have also included the instructions on how to operate a fire extinguisher, or it's something you can actually do even after this entire presentation. And also, in the video, I feel like the instructions would have been mentioned or emphasized before showing us how to put out the fire, of like pull the pin, aim at the fire, then press here and there. Yeah, but otherwise it's a good project. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Christine Karamagi. I really like your project because even I didn't know how to operate a fire extinguisher. Though I want to know, I don't know if I missed it, but I didn't hear your evaluation, like how it went. You mentioned that situation analysis, like before. You didn't mention it, the evaluation after. The numbers. Okay.
The numbers, from our objectives, I told you we did not want to have certain in our data that we're able to know how many people were able to learn how to use a fire extinguisher after the demonstration. So that is indicated in our file.
Yes, I would like to commend your group that you were able to bring out the problem very clearly. Okay, yeah, you put a lot of emphasis there, and therefore I had no doubts in that area. Thank you. I think you should have done a lot more work on documentation of every exercise that you were doing. Some exercises were not documented. Yeah, that is it.
Okay, thank you very much for your project. Again, you pulled it off. I like the fact that you are able to distinguish between the project that was done last year and the one that you did this year. That's a plus for you guys. However, just out of curiosity, what are some of the themes that emerged during your thematic analysis?
During our thematic analysis, first we had to discover how many people learned how to use the fire extinguisher from our demonstration, and how many people knew how to use the fire extinguisher even before our demonstration. So we found out that quite a good number of people were able to learn how to use the fire extinguisher from our demonstration. And from our thematic analysis, we also saw that most people were able to know about our campaign from our posters and our big banner. So that's where most people were able to know about our campaign.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you need to go and read about thematic analysis. Okay, it's something you need to do. You'll need it in future at master's level. Okay. Also, what would you consider your biggest accomplishment? And lastly, health and safety. I was worried that you guys were going to burn up. Health and safety is a key thing. You seemed like you didn't take care of that. And this goes to all of you. One of the things that you guys are going to work in the oil sector, it's the in thing now. Health and safety is key. So you better get yourselves knowledgeable on how that works, okay? Yeah, so please answer the question on your biggest accomplishment.
Our biggest accomplishment was, first, despite having been denied by the university with their equipments, we were able to carry out the demonstration. And we were able to also have a slot in the Health and Awareness Week for our campaign to run further. Yeah, those were our biggest accomplishments. Thank you. Welcome, thank you.
Thank you so much for this wonderful project. But to take you back, if probably you go to the first or second slide of your presentation, first or second. The first slide, okay, probably. Okay, that's okay. I can correct this one here. But now, when you gave us a percentage of 86% of students, and somewhere there in your explanation, you did also mention staff. Yet in the slide over there, you say, according to the research, your group carried out 86% of the students. So for me, I'm thinking, I don't know if you just focused on students only, or you also considered staff members, both teaching and non-teaching. That's one. Two, I think for you to be able to get some of the things around campus, sometimes you may need to engage the faculty, okay? So for example, if you came to the faculty or talk to the head of department or the dean, I'm sure there are certain things you could have got from the university for your demo, if I can say. Because if you go alone there to those different offices and say we want to use a fire extinguisher, we have this project, they may not allow. But if probably you have a letter from the faculty, and I'm sure not everything, because you may want to have petrol or something like that, and that may not come. When I go to the video clip, generally I'm not a TV person, but I did some TV. I'm wondering, somewhere in your video, I realized that we could just see people's legs, no, shoes anyway. So the head and then those top parts had been cut off. So to the viewers, I don't know what is the understanding, because I think according to Mr. Mulwanya and people who have taught me, there are some instances where we need to see people's faces, not the shoes. In your research to come up with the situation analysis, I think it was important, other than telling us the fire department from police something, blah, 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 probably that is the second slide also, probably could have mentioned some of the fires in Uganda that have happened, okay? So, and then probably providing a justification for why people need to know how to operate those fire extinguishers. There are some fires that have happened. I think the recent one was the one for Ministry of Health, where part of it caught fire. If you just mention those ones in your background, yeah, I think that would be very, very good. If you went to the police department, in fire department, other than, I think, criminal investigation directorate, I think the fire department of police would be the best kind of source for information than CID. Thank you so much.
If I can answer your last question as why we were only seeing the legs. That time we were emphasizing on the basin that was lighting fire, as in the one that someone was throwing the matchbox. So our video had to bring that basin, so that people would see what is inside the basin. It was water inside the basin. Water, then after we poured in petrol. So we had to emphasize that.
So to answer your question about when we showed you 86% and then we only said students, staff members, we had a very, very hard time giving you our questionnaires and answering. Some we gave, they didn't even bother. We would go back to follow up, they'd be like, about where did I put it? So that type of response, it is really demoralizing. And to be very clear, we got very, very, very less support from the staff. Let me say, we just talked to them and they gave us a go-ahead, but them actually helping us to come up with certain things like percentages, it was really, really hard. That's why we focused on the students.
Okay, thank you. Submit your evaluation tools. Then let's have the third group prepare. Since we are running out of time, it is almost community worship.